Hi, gang. Happy Tuesday to you all. And it is time to answer some of your questions and see what's going on. So, first off, I want to say a huge shout out to Coach Gabby for doing that 12K swim. Unbelievable long swim, and just so impressed by how far you've come, Gabby, in terms of your training and your racing and all of that. You've done a lot in a very short period of time, so way to go, you. And big shout out to Dusty for being your lead kayaker, because that was a long time to sit in a kayak, so big kudos to her. I also want to do a shout out to Sarah and Jackie, who did the rainy ride yesterday, and so did Coach Clara. Actually, she was out in Meech Lake doing it, and she mentioned that I had some kind of psychic abilities to know that Monday was going to be a rainy day, and I'm so glad it was, because Jackie and Sarah and Clara all got to experience what it's like to ride in the rain. It's always fine and dandy to train on beautiful days, but what happens when race day comes along and it's raining and you're in your wetsuit standing on the beach, looking at the waves and the rain. And actually Gabby did some swimming in the rain up at Tremblant when she was in the 12K. So fantastic. Sarah said she enjoyed the push that the tailwind gave her going up hills, and Jackie learned a lot about how muddy we get when we ride in the rain. So thank you for your comments, guys, and thanks for trying it out, because it really is important. Every day is not going to be beautiful on race day, and we have to be prepared for it so that we're not anxious when race day comes along. Beside that, the topic of the week is speedy transitions. We did that a little bit in the first beginner course, but now we're looking at next level speedy transitions. So I want to see your videos doing your speedy mounts and flying dismounts off of your bike. Please get somebody to videotape you and put them on the page. I'd love to see people doing it. We have a gal in our group in the bigger club, Team Triumph, Pauline, who used to be just rock at that skill. So it just takes practice, and then you're ready for doing it on race day. But yeah, just practice. You might want to wear knee pads if you're a bit nervous about it, but otherwise it's very doable. So no worries there. Beside that, we have a couple of questions from Verity this week. Verity was asking which workouts are missable. I love that word, missable, because she's going camping. So Verity, Brenda answered the question the way I would have answered it as well. Pick your strongest sport and take that one out. But if you're going canoe camping and you're at a lake, then you're one of your strongest sports are swimming, I think, Verity. So in that case, you maybe want to do some extra swims if you can't get in a run or something like that, depending on what the canoe trip looks like. Obviously, you won't be able to get a bike in if you're camping unless you have your bike. What I can tell you guys is what workouts you do not want to miss. So the most important workout, number one, is your long brick. Maybe you guessed that already, but this is something that we've been developing on making longer and longer every week. And now we're getting to the crunch time. You've got a big brick this weekend. I think it's an hour 45 and 50-minute run after. So this is like a super important brick workout, not just for physical reasons, but also for mental reasons, psychological reasons. Like, you want to know that you can do this before you do your first Olympic distance race. I was sorry to see that I think it was Aaron and Elizabeth who have some injuries going on. So I see that you're managing them, getting some physio. And if you're not getting physio, jump on in, get some physio. And I'm sorry to hear that you got a couple of injuries going on, but not to worry. Usually the lovely thing about triathlon is if you have a shoulder problem, you can't swim, you can usually bike or run. And if you've got a knee or lower limb problem, then you can usually keep swimming. So there's always something you can do in triathlon. And worst case scenario, you can also continue doing strength training. And that's not a worst case scenario because it's great to do the strength training. I saw Clara was asking a little bit about hip flexor stretches. So anything that brings your leg back behind you and squeeze your glute while you're doing it would help stretch the glutes. But what I would focus more on would be to also strengthen the glutes. I said stretch the glutes, but I meant strengthen the glutes. So any kind of bridges and clams, anything like that to make sure that you're doing that to strengthen. That's actually part of the pre-run warm-up drill. So if you wanted to add a couple of more of those per week, that would be awesome. Back to Verity's question. Number 2 was about muscle cramps. So I wasn't entirely sure what the source of the muscle cramp was. She was saying in her stomach, I think it was, her side and shoulder. So if it's the side, it can be like a side stitch, and that can be related to your diaphragm just suddenly kind of seizes up when you're running. So what we recommend is actually biting your lip and running like that, because that helps push the oxygen or the air onto your mouth, which relaxes your diaphragm. I don't know, it works, but it really does. So I don't know what the real science is behind that, but that's apparently a trick, and I've done it before, it works. If it's something more related to digestion, then that's something that you might want to look at. What did you eat before you went out for a run or on the bike? And has that caused some issues there? So sometimes gluten can have an issue on some people's digestion, and especially when they get running. And as we get older, digestive systems change. A lot of people don't realize that, but your digestive system can change, and you can no longer tolerate gluten like you used to, and or you can't tolerate carbohydrates as well as you used to, especially women when they get into the perimenopause and menopause years. The other thing that muscle cramps can be related to is fatigue. So if you're not used to doing a certain distance of swimming, let's say if it's a shoulder muscle cramp, it could be that you're not used to doing a certain distance and you've suddenly upped the distance. So no, it's not an injury, but it gets cramped because it's tired. But it can also be related to, people have said electrolytes, hydration, but we don't have actually good science behind cramps being related to electrolytes. A lot of people swear by pickle juice or mustard to help release that cramp. It's always a good idea, we've talked about before, staying hydrated. So make sure that you're hydrated with your electrolytes before you do any big workouts, especially in this heat. But otherwise, yeah, it could be any of those things. So let me know, and we can dive deeper into it next week if you like. Otherwise, yeah, keep doing what you're doing, gang. You're doing a great job getting those workouts in. Stay healthy, stay fit, and we'll see you again next week. Bye.